Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our assembly this morning, all about challenge. Now, just going to give you a second to think about what do you think the word challenge actually means? Can you think of an example of when you attempted a challenge in your life? Whilst thinking about that, I'm going to give you a little quote from Winston Churchill, who said, "Success is the ability to go from one failure to another with no loss of enthusiasm." That's a really, really important message. When you don't get things right first time, just keep going with the same energy, the same enthusiasm, and we'll succeed. Okay. So I'd like teachers now just to pause the video so that children can share and have a think about what challenge is and share that with the person sat next to them. So please can you pause that now? Great, hopefully you've had some really, really good ideas. I'm very interested to know what they are. For me, the term challenge has many different definitions. Many people see it as a task or a situation that tests someone's abilities. And I think it's really important that you notice that, test someone's abilities. It's not a particular stand, it's not a particular thing. I'll give you a good example. Many of you have learned or are learning to tie a tie. And for some of you, when you first did that, it was a bit of a challenge. But now, many of you could probably do it without even thinking. Many of you could talk to your friends, maybe watch a bit of TV, do lots and lots of things, eat maybe, even deliver an assembly whilst you're tying a tie. Because actually what used to be challenging once doesn't necessarily mean it will always be challenging. And as you get better and better at something, the easier it becomes. The challenge is something that is difficult to achieve, however, it is not impossible. And it isn't difficult forever. Think about challenges you face at school. It might have something to do with work, it might be to do with maths or English, it might be to do with PE, games or music. Just some questions that you find particularly challenging. Now, is that necessarily a bad thing? In my head, I don't think it is at all. In fact, I think it is a good thing if you are faced with challenges. Because if you are set work or tasks or activities that you could already do, how much are you really learning? How much are you developing further? All of the challenges that you face are essential and they help us to become more independent people. I feel like challenges are so important to help us learn, and it does take some effort. It doesn't come easily, but actually the reward is really worth the effort that you put in. Now, you've just finished one of the most demanding years of your education. That is true. I'm not going to hide behind it. There have been many challenges over the last year, and you've all done so well to overcome them. But we're back in school, and the pace of learning, how quickly we do things, it's just the same. And so is the challenge, because we want to make sure that we get better and better and better. I would like us to focus on challenge and how we can all challenge ourselves. So for this, you need to set yourself a target. You need to know what it is you want to achieve. Have a think to yourself now what your targets could be. Remember that challenge isn't necessarily completing the most difficult work in class. It is all about you. What do you find particularly challenging and how are you going to overcome that? It is very much personal. A challenge for me may be different to a challenge from somebody else. I think it's important that you recognise that the idea of something that is challenging is very much for the individual. About getting better each time, it's something that you might find particularly difficult at a time. Now, we all face adversity at some point in our lives. Now, that word adversity is quite tricky. Have a think about what you think it might mean. Again, teachers, if you just pause for a few minutes, take some answers from the class about what they think adversity is. Okay. Hopefully, you've had some really good thoughts there. But adversity basically means a challenging situation, things that are put in our way. They are obstacles, they are hurdles that we need to overcome. And I'm going to show you a video now that sort of symbolises that. So, bear with me for 1 second whilst I just prepare the video.
Yes, I can, suddenly, yes, I can. Gee, I'm afraid to go on has turned into, yes, I can. Take a look, what do you see? 133 pounds of confidence in me. Got the feeling I can do anything, yes, I can. Something that sings in my blood is telling me, yes, I can. I was just born today, I can go all the way, yes, I can. 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 Hey, yes, I can.
That video there was an advert done by Channel 4 for the Paralympics, and it really does show that you can overcome any obstacles that are put in your way. As I said at the beginning, a challenge is something that is difficult to do, but not impossible. And I think that that video there really shares that message. The message of, there may be things that are put in our way, there may be things that we find difficult and challenging, but it's not impossible. There are things we can do. Think about how your own challenge is and the tasks that you just thought about. What can you do to try and overcome those? There will be things that make it a bit more challenging, but think about who you could talk to, what you could do to be more independent, to overcome certain things. So, what is going to be your challenge this term? Share them with your class at the end of the assembly and think about how you're going to achieve them. Just think, if you improve by 1% each day you get closer and closer to that goal. I want the message to be, yes, I can. Okay, so when you finish this assembly today, you've thought about what it is you want to achieve, just think, yes, I can. I hope you all have a wonderful week.